Following that is an introduction to the system government known as the Alliance, which mentions the fight for system-wide rule known as the Fight of Independence to the losing opposition, the Browncoats. This classroom scene appears to be River Tam's memory or dream when he is in a medicated coma at the Alliance Academy facility, being groomed as some sort of programmed assassin. River's brother, Dr. Simon Tam, infiltrates the lab and frees her, but the breakout was a security recording that the operative watched after the incident. He's been given orders to deal with the security breach and the project director's failure, as well as to find and return River. The credit sequence introduces us to the Firefly-class freighter Serenity, owned and captained by former independent soldier Malcolm Reynolds, 8 months after the events of the teaser. Serenity is set to break Atmo on the planet Lilac as part of one of the crew's illegal activities, this time a bank heist. The crew members are the pilot, Hoban Washburn, his wife Zoe, a veteran and war friend of Mal's, hired gun Jane Cobb, and engineer Kay-Winnett Lee Kay-Lee Fry, all famous to Firefly fans. The Tams found refuge with this crew after River's escape, but Mal intends to exploit River's psychic skills on this job against Simon's desires. It starts off smoothly, until River detects and informs them of approaching Reavers. Reavers are feared on the border planets for their unprovoked, cannibalistic, frantic attacks. They are only known from urban mythology on the center planets. The crew makes an exciting escape, with Mal shooting a man attempting to flee rather than allowing him to be taken by the Reavers. Back aboard, Simon punches Mal for endangering River, then proclaims their decision to leave the ship. Kaylee is upset because she has a crush on Simon. Meanwhile, the crew lands at Haven, a mining town where Shepherd Book has established a congregation, and is hailed by him. Mal is perplexed by Book's remarkable knowledge of security, criminal, and military operations. No explanation is ever given. Book tells Mal on how an operative attack on him could take place. Mal says about Book's history, "You have to tell me about it sometime." "No," says the Book. "I don't." Inara contacts Serenity and requests assistance. Mal, anticipating a trap, "You watched us fight? No? Trap?" decides to pay her a visit. The operative has arrived to the temple. Of course, it was a trap, and details the difficulties River will cause Mal in order to persuade him to hand over River. Mal shoots him before fighting him. Inara detonates a flash bomb, and they flee on a neighboring shuttle while Serenity arranges decoys to confuse the operative. Jane tries to take River from the locker she's been imprisoned in after disagreeing with Mal about keeping her. She overpowers him and flees. She shows Mal the planet Miranda from the bridge. Miranda's existence has been concealed, with all mention of it removed from charts and records, and it is located in Reaver territory. Before the crew returns and destroys Haven, the Alliance arrives. They discover Book, who is dead, next to the settlement's cannon, which he used to shoot down the assault craft. His final words advise Mal to stand firm in his ideals. They realize the operative assaulted every possible escape route for Mal. Mal devises another plan. They disguise Serenity as a Reaver ship and travel to Miranda while passing through a Reaver flotilla. They land on Miranda and discover a planet that appears to be suitable for life, with breathable air, power, and intact cities and infrastructure. However, everyone has died. The residents appear to have simply lost the desire to life and have resigned themselves to death, at work, on the road, and in their homes. They discover a survey ship containing a holographic recording created by the team's sole surviving member, a report that was never transmitted. The tape reveals that the Alliance injected drugs into Miranda's air processors to help stabilize the population's behavior. It was far too effective. Almost everyone gave up trying to survive and perished. A small number, on the other hand, had a completely different reaction to the chemical. They were excessively violent and aggressive. The crew recognizes the Reavers as a damaged and dangerous remnant of Miranda's residents. Just before the war, the Alliance produced them and attempted to suppress the evidence. River was affected by this revelation, and the release of her tension caused her to vomit. After this, she says clearly, "I'm fine." The memory was reportedly picked up by River from some of the Alliance chiefs who came to observe her training, and it was also triggered by the code advertisement. Mal decides to broadcast the hologram from the moon of Mr. Universe. Mal phones Mr. Universe, who tells him to go ahead, but he's already been imprisoned. and the operative kills him as soon as Mal breaks touch. Mal mans the Haven cannon they use to hide the ship as they sail back through the Reaver fleet. He destroys one of the Reaver spacecraft, and Serenity flees with the Reavers hot on her tail. The operative's fleet is hidden in the atmospheric ion cloud of Mr. Universe's moon, and they are taken aback when Serenity approaches the command ship. They're even more astonished by the number of Reavers following Serenity. Wash skillfully maneuvers Serenity through the subsequent conflict, oblivious to the chaos, until they are tagged by an electronic pulse weapon, which destroys Serenity's electrical systems. Wash makes a dead stick landing at the end of the runway, skidding into an open hangar bay. Serenity loses one of its attitude engines and comes to rest facing out of the hangar, leaving them vulnerable to attack by the Reaver ship following them in. Wash is impaled after a spear weapon shatters the window. He passes away not long after. Zoe tries to release him, but Mal notices another spear launch and moves Zoe out of harm's way. They, along with everyone else, enter Mr. Universe's complex. While Mal departs to disseminate the message, Jane and Zoe plan a defensive strategy. He discovers Mr. Universe dead, but the love bot activates upon Mal's approach, sending Mr. Universe's final message on how to locate a secret transmitter that the Alliance would have missed if they had destroyed his equipment. The operative, who escaped the destruction of his ship in a life pod, comes shortly after and triggers the love bot message intended for Mal. He pursues Mal to the transmitter. Reavers assault on the hangar level. Zoe is sliced in the back in an act of vengeance. Kaylee is hit, and Simon, realizing his medical bag has been left out where the Reavers are, stands up and is also hit. He apologizes for leaving River. "You always look after me," she says. It's my turn. She dives through a break in the blast door they were guarding, takes a fallen weapon, and fights with it before closing the door's manual override and being seized by Reavers. Mal arrives at the transmitter, engages in a big fight with the operative, and manages to beat him this time, allowing him to live but forcing him to watch the proof while Mal transmits it. River's fight against the Reavers continues, and her training ensures she'll be the only fighter standing. Mal rejoins the gang as power returns to the compound, and everyone wonders if River survived. As the wall collapses, the blast door reopens, revealing her standing alone with bladed weapons in her hands. Alliance forces surge in, demanding weapons down, and they ask the operative for a kill order. He orders them to lower their firearms. We're finished. There are monuments for Wash, Book, and Mr. Universe at an outdoor funeral service for the fallen crew members and friends. Next, River observes Kaylee and Simon kissing from above while working on Serenity. Before he departs, the operative arrives to inform Mal that he has weakened the Alliance, but they are not gone, and they are not forgiving. As they prepare to depart, Mal approaches Inara and asks if she is ready to return to civilized life. She is unsure. "Good answer," he says. River is in the co-pilot seat as Mal takes the pilot seat. She appears to know what she's doing and elevates the ship before Mal realizes what she's doing. He emphasizes the importance of loving your ship. As Serenity vanishes into the night, a piece rips loose from the hull. Mal, voiceover, urgently asks, "What was that?"